things up this year a little bit. Rather than a long, typical speech from me, we thought we should introduce you to our core team who programmed and planned the festival this year. They are among the best, and so we wanted you to meet them and hear them talk about the films. So thanks for being here and your support of the festival. Now I'll turn it over to Jane. Thank you.
Bob. We're really excited to kick off the 11th Tribeca Film Festival today at this breakfast, and I welcome all of you here and thank you really for being here and supporting us over the years. As you know, we founded Tribeca as a response to 9/11, but now we're moving into our second decade, and we're really excited about where Tribeca is today. The festival has been many things since we started, and I know it's always a question everybody asks, you know, what is Tribeca? And again, it's been many things, but it really continues to evolve and continues to really stay with our core principles. Our core principles have always been community, innovation, discovery, and industry. We're proud of how far we've come, and we're excited about where the next 10 years are really going to bring us. With that, I'm pleased to introduce our programming team, which represents the latest evolution of the Tribeca organization. Please welcome Jeff Gilmore, Jenna Terranova, Frederick Boyer, who together with our executive director, Nancy Schaefer, have put together our exciting 2012 program.
Well, I just want to first of all, again, welcome you all here and tell you thank you all for coming. I mean, we're very excited about this year's festival. It's really the beginning of our next decade, and we have a new programming team in place. I think that's one of the biggest changes that we had at this festival this year. But we've been building this program for a number of years, and particularly over the last couple of years, I think we've made real strides. It's hard to talk about a program in a brief way because it's hard to summarize it all. But this is a program that for us really is a kind of a breakthrough in terms of the balance and diversity that we have in our competitions, which is something we're very proud of. And we're really passionate about a number of films in the festival, which to me is the only thing that makes the work, the really rigorous work of watching film after film after film worthwhile. You want to get excited about some films. So if you hear us get excited, we are. We're actually talking about the range of program that we have, about the spectrum of everything that we've shown in this festival. I'm excited about our opening night, but I'm particularly excited about our competitions. Frederick will talk a little bit about our competitions.
I can talk with, I don't want to be too long, so just talk about the competition. What is brand new this year, and we have two opening films, one for the narrative competition and one for the documentary film competition, which I think is extremely respectful for the filmmakers, respectful for the festival, respectful for the audience, for the sponsors, and I think it's great. So we have Yossi from Eitan Fox, which is one of the great filmmakers from Israel, coming for the third time here in Tribeca for opening the film, for the narrative, and we have one War Before Air, a Canadian film about two portraits, beautiful film about two Indian portraits in India, which is beautiful. But I just want to give you the mood, the feeling, and to tell you, because we receive so many submissions, and we have to decide which film we're gonna bring in competition. So what is a competition film? And it's not because it's a film it's better, it's just because the film is much more connected with each other. We can have a connection, we can have a risky film, which is a thriller from Spain called Unit 7. We can have an African film shot by a Canadian filmmaker, which is War Witch, but we didn't shoot the film because it's African. We chose the film because it's good. So it's the first thing is just the most important thing for me. When I'm going to see a movie, I'm alone with myself. But what I need is to talk about it. And it's so good to be able to have a discussion with Jeff, with Jenna, with the new team. We are totally different. We don't, sometimes we agree, but we know what is a good film and why. We can give you a reason why we decide to choose this film. I always want the films can change a little bit my life, even 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 years, but it's so important for me that the cinema can change a little bit what I am.
And Frederick was talking about the competition, which is really a nice cross-section, almost a snapshot of what the rest of the program looks like. And those striations of, let's say, genres or themes run from the competition through the rest of the program. So in the rest of the program, we have our Spotlight section, our Viewpoint section, and our Cinemania section. And we really feel like this really exhibits the sort of breadth and range of the program, from foreign films to documentaries, and that range ranges from Morgan Spurlock's, as you saw, very funny Mansum, to Knuckleball, which is a documentary about two really interesting pitchers who are throwing the ball in a totally unique and controversial way, to something like 2 Days in New York with Julie Delpy, who's coming back again. She was here with 2 Days in Paris. To Cheerful Weather for a Wedding or Hysteria, which are a little bit of counter-programming because they're British period piece, but also very funny and entertaining. And then in Viewpoints was where you find more of the discovery type of films, or films that are really pushing the boundaries of storytelling. And a great example of this is a film called Resolution, which is made by some young Brooklyn filmmakers here. I'm sorry, not young Brooklyn filmmakers, but some young filmmakers. And basically they've taken genre elements and infused them into the story. So we're starting to see a lot of these new filmmakers taking different elements, infusing them, not really going in a one strong direction. Resolution is a great example of this. And you also have a movie like Supporting Characters with Alex Karpovsky, who has been making films in New York for a really long time, which is a romantic comedy, a buddy comedy in many respects. And then we have the Cinemania section, which is really a wild ride. I mean, it is where our genre movies are settled, and some great examples is Jackpot from Norway, which is really a hysterical comedy, but a very violent gangster movie at the same time. And something like Graceland, which comes from the Philippines, which is a really intense thriller. So we have the range of films that go throughout the program, and we're really, really excited about them.
You know, the question always gets asked as to what is Tribeca and what's a Tribeca film. And I have to say that it's a complicated question, because no festival likes to say this is our singular agenda. It's always a multifaceted agenda. It's always a spectrum of what you're trying to do. And as Jane said this morning, we really, as a festival, we're born with community, but we're really a festival that's excited about innovation, about discovery, and about the work that means in terms of its usefulness for the industry. At the end of the day, what Frederick and I, Jen, all just looked at and said what we want to accomplish this year is program quality. And quality means a lot of different things, but it starts with that as the major agenda. You don't program with the idea of we have to be attentive for commercial work. We don't have to think about geography. We can talk about whatever aesthetic we want. So what makes a Tribeca film is that there are no limits. We're excited about that there's no limits. What Frederick and I talked about was how much we feel liberated in terms of programming this. We can do ESPN documentaries, we can show Knuckleball, and we can show Wagner's Dream. We have this spectrum of what we can showcase, and we're excited about that as a presentation in terms of what it means for international cinema, for American cinema, and for the range of industry and studio films that we're presenting as part of our program.
And so one of the things we do is we do big panels like our director series, but we also do what we call after the movies. So we do Q&As that are more extended with a real panel discussion, and there's a host of these throughout the festival. They're all fascinating conversations, and it's a way for us to really highlight some interesting topics and also to showcase some interesting work in a different way. So I hope you'll also pay attention to the panels like The List and Wagner's Dream and Let Fury Have the Hour. There's a number of these films that have panel discussions afterwards, which is something we do, which we love. So I'm going to actually mention a few other people in the room because they're noteworthy and on the team, and then we're going to open up to questions. In the front row we have Sharon Vidal, who has been our shorts programmer for 11 years, and we have John Gartenberg, who is our experimental film programmer, and Kara Cusimano, who's the other main programmer of the festival. Somewhere in this room I know is Beth Jansen from the Tribeca Film Institute. She runs the Institute. So we're open to any kind of questions from you guys that you would like to know, have us answer.
Hi, I'm Nadia from Episodio in South Africa. Tribeca started obviously to revive downtown New York, and it's just been growing. How can you talk about how the festival is growing around the world as well? What the second decade means, and particularly I know there's interest, for example, to have the festival in Cape Town, following Doha, Tribeca. Can you talk about those plans?
Yeah, what I'll say is we do have a very successful festival in the Middle East, the Doha Tribeca Film Festival. Other than that, there's no news. We're just in conversations. A lot of people come and ask us if we want to get involved, there's nothing else to report on that.
Hi there, Rafi with the Film Stage. I'm just curious, what percentage of the films were crowdfunded or kickstarted? If you know that?
It's a great question. Many of them, and actually many of them are still using Kickstarter to raise funds to bring in, let's say, particular actors. So Kickstarter has been a huge support system, and I think it's just goes to show what a community is building around independent film. That it's not just industry based. It's really community based, and people are able to donate to films and be a part of a creative process where they haven't been before. So it's been hugely instrumental in many films, and I'm happy to also go and try and find out that statistic, but it's absolutely growing.
Hi, how are you? I was just curious, how many films were submitted to you guys this year for consideration?
Almost 6,000?
6,000 features and shorts.
And features and shorts. That's the combined number. 2,800 shorts.
Hi, my name is Mercedes Gallego with El Correo from Spain. You said that you don't want to feel constricted about commercial or any other requirements. That at the end of the day you want a quality program. What do you think the Tribeca Film Festival has to do to achieve the prestige that Sundance has in the US?
I think the Tribeca Film Festival has really come into its own already. I think what it's accomplished over the decade has been significant, and it's already viewed by filmmakers and by a lot of people in the industry as an essential stop on the circuit, as it were. I think that every festival's agendas are unique to themselves. What we are is a festival that's trying to program not only for what the industry evaluations are about, but also for what I think is really going on in the world of film that expands beyond those industry agendas. That's what makes, I think, Tribeca so unique, that we very much want to talk about ourselves as a festival for community as much as it is for industry. For a way of talking about what the future of film festivals will become, which I think Tribeca is doing more to think about than almost any other festival I can look at. I really am excited about the fact that Tribeca is developing things online, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of that in our future with our new colleague who's come in to work with Nancy and me and everybody about developing the Tribeca Film Festival online. We already have a distribution platform, and we're really talking about trying to develop strategies to get a new generation to come into festivals. I've said this more than once, but if the only people that come to festivals have this color hair, we're in trouble. And it really is something that we have to keep thinking about. How do we bring new generations in? How do we evolve what festivals are going to be about? Let's look at how festivals are going to develop in the next decade. How can Tribeca be at the cutting edge of that? That's the agenda that I think we as an organization are focused on.
That actually feels like a great stopping point, but we're all here and we'll come out and talk to you guys as needed. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all for coming.